Shiatsu by Mark Bishop. Producer Mark Bishop, director Eddie Malicki, video recordist Eddie Malicki. This video is intended to be a backup to the first or initial stage of basic training of Shiatsu. It covers some of the basic techniques. It is a manual for learning, not for treating. Please use it in unison with a properly registered and trained teacher. Getting to know the recipient. Well, I'm Mark Bishop, I'm the gentleman on the left, and I'm talking here with someone who may be familiar to you, Moya, a colleague of mine. She's going to be our assistant today, and I'm going to demonstrate on her. So here I am getting to know the recipient. I'm putting them at ease, telling Moya exactly what Shiatsu is all about, explaining what is going to happen, that she's going to learn how to relax, release, and let go. She was a bit nervous at first, as most clients are, so gradually she's beginning to relax, and you'll see her smile there as I tell her that nothing strange or uncomfortable will happen. And if she does feel uncomfortable in any way, she should bring that up to me. And I do like to have a lot of feedback from the recipient of the treatment, the client. So there we are, having a good laugh now. She's relaxed quite a bit. And I'm explaining that, first of all, I'm going to show you, the person watching the video, the 4 basic positions. And Moya has now laid down on her tummy to show first position, and here I'm making contact with my hands. I'm just going to check that the heels are out there and the toes are in, arms in a comfortable position, and I will ask to make sure that the neck is not uncomfortable there. Now, if the neck is uncomfortable, you can use cushions in various ways to support the shoulder, because the recipient must be in a pain-free lying in this position, in any position. It's very difficult to relax, of course, if you are actually in pain. So, pain-free position, comfortable, not any pressure on the neck if it is stiff. Now Moya is going to roll over and lay down on her back. This is the next position. We can call it position number 2, making contact there with my hands. Now I'm checking to see that the toes are out, and therefore the groin is open. And always, of course, the breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just a little bit of a cushion under the head there. I like the angle of the head to be slightly up, and that gives a little bit of elongation to those muscles at the back of the neck. There, gently allow the head to go down. Always caring, touch, gentle touch, putting the recipient at ease, making contact in those positions you see there. Comforting the head, calming the recipient down, and the breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, using the abdominal muscles. Now Moya's adopted the side position. Normally the recipient of the treatment, the client, would not be expected to move into this position themselves. I would put them in this position, but for the sake of the students watching, Moya has put herself. Moya's been a long-term student, now practitioner of Shiatsu. So she's put herself in that side position. It's very similar to the recovery position you'll see we use in first aid. Now the last position is either kneeling, sitting. It's the last of the 4. There is one more, that's standing, which we don't use in basic Shiatsu. So these are the 4 basic positions. If it's difficult for the recipient to kneel down, as Moya is doing very comfortably, if there's any pain in the knees or hips or lower back, of course they can sit on a chair, sit cross-legged, or sit on their bottoms with their legs stretched out in front of them. Again, this position must be pain-free and comfortable, and always check. Even though a recipient or client will say, "I'm quite comfortable, thank you," very often they are not, so do check that those knees are not painful. Here we are, starting some treatment on the back. I'm making contact, positive connection. Just feeling the spine here, feeling the hot spots, the cold spots, the tense spots, lots of tense spots or areas. Tuning in, a lot of empathic tuning in going on here. feeling with my hands, looking with my fingertips. I've actually got my eyes closed right now, so I use my finer senses, if you like, not so much sight as insight. Yes, very delicately working a few trigger points there to help the spine release. Encouraging Moya to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and you'll see that lower spine, the lower back, the lumbar area going up and down as she gets the breathing. Now I'm moving into a diagonal stretch using perpendicular pressure to help open up the back a little bit more. I apply pressure as Moya breathes out. She's breathing in now, I ease off, and as she starts to breathe out, there, I apply pressure. Notice my pressure is just off perpendicular in this case because it's diagonal. Very good. And she's beginning to relax more and more with this, feeling more and more comfortable. Notice the subtlety of the touch and the pressure. And the pressure is applied not so much by using my arms and shoulders, it's regulated from my legs and abdominal muscles. I'm just putting a tuck in the material there to make sure I'm not stretching the material, and we have as much freedom as possible, that the material is not restricting what I'm doing there. A little bit of rotation work there. You'll see me doing quite a bit of this. It's difficult to adopt that at first. I'd just like you to apply the basic pressure until you get more and more used to what you're doing. A few subtle techniques creeping in. Yeah. Gradually easing the tension out of the back. Initially to relax the spine. Now I'm going to do a cross stretch on the lower back. I'm demonstrating there that there's the ribs, the floating ribs, I'm using them, and that hip bone, the ilium there, to do a diagonal stretch, diagonal cross stretch to help open up the lower back. There, apply pressure, diagonal cross stretch. Just observe the way the hands are being used. There's the stretch. Opening up the lower back. Very good, yes. And getting some movement in the back at the same time. Now I'm coordinating my breathing with Moya's breathing the whole time. Just explaining that I'm going to do the next technique, which is mother hand, child hand. And it's easier to work through one layer of material than two. Of course, always sensibilities must be taken into consideration here. I'll work through two layers of material. At this stage, I've got the mother hand on the sacral bone. It's the triangular bone there. And I'm applying pressure perpendicularly with the child hand, which is the free hand. Now I adjust my position with my legs, constantly changing my leg position so that my child hand, that's the right hand in this case, the right arm, can apply pressure perpendicularly. Applying pressure, avoiding the knee. I'm going down to the ankle. Avoid pressure on the knee at first until you're quite skilled. Now I'm coming back up. I actually am applying pressure there. It may not appear so, but changing position there. And the mother hand is remained more or less static. It can swivel. It can change position if it needs to be. The actual mother position can change if the reach is too long. Up, across the buttock there, and just smooth out. Now, I'm doing the other leg, but just see how the fingers are there. I'm pointing the fingers away from the groin. Still pointing the fingers away from the groin, and when I'm free from that area there, I can turn the fingers now to a more comfortable position for me. Avoid the knee there, no pressure there, just skip over that. We'll go down to the calf muscle. There. I've just changed the position of the mother hand because the reach was too long for me. So I've changed the mother hand to left hand still, and the right hand is the child hand. Just to show you that it can be done. You don't have to remain absolutely static with the mother hand. Coming back up now. Mother hand, child hand. These are the basic concepts of the actual technique. We have diagonal stretch, mother hand, child hand with perpendicular pressure, and we have one more which is diagonal pressure using two hands, which I'll demonstrate. I've just eased off here a little bit. Before that, we'll just look at the mother hand, child hand going down the arm. Same as we did on the legs. The mother hand now is between the shoulder blades. Just make sure the arm is loose down to the wrist and smooth out the palm. It's very nice to have palm touch. Very comfortable. Moya breathing the whole time. Deep breathing now. Relaxed state. There. Quite a bit of pressure there. Very good. Now the other arm. My breathing coordinated with Moya's. The more I can relax, the more Moya can relax. Notice the cushions behind. They're there just in case we need them. I've got a clean, comfortable room, warm. Moya is dressed in loose-fitting, comfortable clothing, except for the fact of leggings, which ladies do like to wear. The clothing, the outer clothing, does give an extra sense of being protected, and therefore the recipient can relax more. But, of course, overdressing, woolen sweaters are out. They lose too much sensitivity through wool. So loose-fitting, comfortable clothing, preferably cotton, thin cotton. But the room must be warm, comfortable, and clean. Now we're going to demonstrate the perpendicular pressure, as I've just described to you. Starting at the shoulders, making contact first of all. Notice that the arms are at a 90-degree angle to the area I'm working on. I'm just demonstrating that there. It's a rectangle, 90-degree angle, square onto the area I'm working. Not the floor, the area I'm working. Look at the forearms now, perpendicular. Again, applying pressure with the body weight, regulating it with those legs and the stomach muscles. Changing my position the whole time. This is a beginner's technique the way I'm doing it here. I would actually, if I was doing it on a client, be in a slightly different position, but for you beginners to be able to see, palming down the back there, I'll just change around in a minute. Still perpendicular, these have got the slope. There now, across the buttocks, and I'll be going right down the back of the legs. Now the angle there is such that beginners will have to change around as I'm doing now. But notice I kept contact the whole time. There, perpendicular pressure. It's a bit awkward at first until you get used to it, and then you'll develop more and more fluid techniques of doing that. Palming down, down, back of the legs. Using the heel of the palm, the butt of the hand. Easing across the knees and down into the calf muscles. Very good, yes. Regulating the breathing, watching Moya's breathing still. There. Nice straight back on my part, so I don't put undue pressure on my physical self. To give a good shiatsu treatment is as beneficial as receiving one, by the way. Down to the feet now, palming the feet, and back up, same way we came down. Perpendicular pressure, regulating with my legs, my abdominal muscles, applying pressure, constantly changing my position. Get that perpendicular pressure up across the buttocks, different position there, standing up now, straight down there, change around at this angle. There. quite a bit of pressure now. The back's loosened up considerably, so I can put a lot more pressure than I could have done initially. Change my position again just to give you an idea how I'd like you to initially start off. Good. Just working a few points out there. A little bit of tension I've discovered, so I'm just working that free as I go. A few subtleties put in. I'm pointing out there that I do not want to put my knee in front of the recipient's face. One thing, it could slip, hurt them. Another thing, it's rather objectionable. So try and keep the face free of obstruction from your knees and your feet. Of course, at all times keep your feet clean.